You can see them coming from a long way off, those steam trains, belching smoke and rumbling and swaying, coming out of some distance someplace, a rising crescendo of special old railroad music, the song of steel on steel. You just have to stand and watch it pass. It shakes the ground and shakes the bones and thrills the soul and thunders by. Only problem is the train all too quickly disappears off in the haze and distance and doesn't take us with it. Leaves us kinda abandoned there alongside the track in swirls of dust and fading noise, all alone with a powerful urge to be on that train, going wherever it's going. America has always had a love affair with trains, a romance of the rails. But those marvelous old steam trains went away and the romance faded, and we all became, well, jilted lovers in a long-time infatuation with the big, noisy steam locomotives that hitched up to so much of Americana and dragged it across this wide country. But the great American steam train is not gone. You can still ride it, still clickety-clack along behind a big eight-wheeler moving on down the line to one of America's greatest heritages, the Grand Canyon. This is northern Arizona, overshadowed by high mountains that are the dormant volcanoes that shape the land for as far as the eye can see, a broad canvas of forests and high plains. And this is a canvas sliced through with deep canyons, one of the grandest canyons of them all, one of the magnificent wonders of the world, the Grand Canyon. Now, a few places on Earth inspire as much wonder and awe as does the Grand Canyon, an emotional experience that just whacks you in the face with the wonder and bigness of it all. All through the day, the light changes. As many times as you come here, it is a different canyon, a great, deep world of light and long shadow and moods. The historic Grand Canyon Railway steam train arrives at the canyon just ahead of a summer thunderstorm, stopping in front of the historic old log railroad station. The passengers step off the train and deep into old Arizona territory of the turn of the century, literally just steps from the edge of the Grand Canyon. This is what the Grand Canyon Railway is all about, a journey you'll never forget, the Grand Canyon experience. This is the steam train to the canyon, a ride into history, a great adventure on the way to a great adventure. You're riding the Great American Steam Railway. You're part of a dramatic story of colorful pioneer characters blended in a sweep of wide open spaces. A story as big as the Grand Canyon itself. This line carried presidents, kings, maharajas, princes and princesses, movie stars, famous folks, and just folks from every country in the world to the Grand Canyon. As impressive as this lineup of personalities has been, the titles and fame of those who stand on the edge and gawk are meaningless. The canyon is the royalty here. We are but its humble servants, spellbound on the edge. The magic of the Grand Canyon Railway is in the getting to the canyon. The delight of riding old-style passenger cars being pulled by a turn-of-the-century steam engine, laboring and working its way up one of the classic railroads in the country. Nowhere else on the Santa Fe system was an engineer faced with such abrupt changes in grade and curves. Just the different horizons the engineer could see from the cab were deceiving, making it difficult to tell if he were going uphill or downhill. And engineers were tested carefully. One of the important questions on the test supposedly was, what's the first thing you do when you start moving? The answer? Check to make sure the rest of the train is coming with you. Now, the country the train passes through is in the Old West, and some of the most rotten, weasel-eyed bad guys around have been known to travel on the Grand Canyon Railway. This is One-Eyed Jack. Mean, nasty. Even his mother doesn't like him.
Excuse me.
Here comes Priscilla Goodbody, one of the West's most fickle saloon girls. She kind of goes where the gold goes.
Have you seen Two Feathers? I heard he robbed a train. He's got a huge bag of gold.
My name's Marshal John B. Goodmore. The B stands for Be Good or Be Gone. I'm looking for the notorious Two Feathers. He robbed this train of the gold, and I think he's got my girl. When I find him, I'm gonna shoot him down like a dirty dog.
Now, this is Two Feathers. This is the guy everybody's talking about. He and One-Eyed Jack are good buddies.
I hope we get this gunfight over soon, else I'll be late for Sunday school.
I want you ladies to be on the lookout. You should hide all your gold. I think if you put that away, ma'am, you'd be better
It's not
off.
real. It's from Minnesota. You know how
Minnesota.
it is in Minnesota?
Yeah, I
It's
shot
not
it. I
real.
shot it out with the Daltons up in Northfield a few years
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
This is Two Feathers. Two Feathers. He's bad news.
This is where your journey begins, at the Grand Canyon Railway Depot in Williams, Arizona. The train station is in the restored Frey Marcus, which was one of the Fred Harvey Company's splendid chain of hotels during the heyday of Santa Fe's railway into the Old West. Now, this is where you pick up your reservations and buy your tickets for the round trip to the Grand Canyon. There's a great gift shop here, too, full of quality articles. Popular label clothes, jewelry, rail buff souvenirs, and fun doohickeys that'll help you remember your day on the Grand Canyon Railway. Back out on the platform, old One-Eyed Jack is still wandering around being ill-bred and churlish, looking for trouble. Now, while your kids are dealing with old bad-tempered One-Eyed Jack, take a turn through the Grand Canyon Railway Museum. It has an interesting collection of area railroading memorabilia accumulated by the railway's historian, Al Richmond. The story of the Grand Canyon Railway goes back over 100 years. In 1883, it began as the dream of one of the territory's more colorful characters, William Bucky O'Neill, who would be one of Teddy Roosevelt's Rough Riders. For more than a decade, he tried to raise money and interest in a rail line to the canyon. The then president of the Santa Fe Railroad wasn't much interested. Thought Bucky and his friends were trying to scam a little easy money. Well, Bucky was killed in the Spanish-American War, but it is his dream that is generally credited with the building of the Grand Canyon Line. Construction was started in 1899, and on September 17, 1901, this 10-wheeler steam locomotive pulled 3 water cars and a combination passenger baggage car out of Williams to the Grand Canyon. And the Santa Fe Railroad finally saw the wisdom of getting involved, eventually becoming the major stockholder in the Grand Canyon Railway. In 1904, the Fred Harvey Company built the famous El Tovar Hotel on the rim of the canyon. In 1908, Fred Harvey opened the Fray Marcos Hotel in Williams, which today is the restored Grand Canyon Railway Depot. The first trains to the canyon arrived at this simple wooden structure. But in 1908, the historic log train station was built, renovated in 1990 by the new Grand Canyon Railway. It's on the National Register of Historic Places. The most trains at any one time to come to the Grand Canyon was during the Great Boy Scout invasion of 1953. 20,000 scouts arrived in 53 special trains, as many as 9 trains in the yard at the canyon at any one time. Well, more and more automobiles took to ever better American highways, and the Santa Fe Railroad decided to get out of passenger service. In July of 1968, the last passenger train ran, and in 1974, the last Santa Fe freight made the run from the canyon. For all practical purposes, the Grand Canyon Line had come to an end. Summer of 1988. It was beginning to look as bleak as this bad weather day. Somebody was already beginning to tear up the track. The rot and decay of disuse had settled in. Rust had been on the rail for years. There had been plenty of schemes. For years, the town of Williams, Arizona pinned and then unpinned their hopes for economic revival on several people who drifted in and said they could make the railroad work, and then drifted out. The most serious attempt to revive the railroad was made by an organization that had borrowed $1 million from Phoenix area businessman Max Biegert to help finance their project. Well, Max Biegert eventually had to foreclose on the loan, and he took over the tracks. Now, the closest Max had ever been to trains before was to watch them go by at a railroad crossing. But he decided to recover his investment and began to build, refurbish, and operate a railroad. As successful a businessman as Max had been before, the banks thought he was crazy.
The banks think this is a bad joke and have from the beginning. They have never indicated they would help financially, and they have not. So we had to do this with our own private funds, and it's stretched it. It's a lot of money going into this thing, but we have done it and feel very good about it.
11 1920s era passenger cars were painstakingly restored to museum quality. The engines to pull the new train had been long retired from a mining railroad in Wisconsin, and they looked like this. To the average eye, more a donation of rust and neglect than anything that would ever work again. But in less than a month, a miracle came about, and dedicated professionals working 20-hour days brought old engine number 18, basically a bucket of rust, back to life. And it wasn't until 1:30 the very morning the re-inaugural train was to depart Williams that number 18 actually moved under its own power. But basically on time, the re-inaugural train departed on September 17, 1989, 88 years to the day after that first passenger train. Even under cloudy skies and the threat of rain, it was a grand day.
We have one of the most popular tourist attractions in the entire world, the Grand Canyon. And we just haven't been able to take full economic advantage of it. Well, I'm at this Grand Canyon Railway re-inaugural today because something very special is happening here.
So it is a bright day and a bright success after years of shattered hopes for Williams and, of course, a lot of people in love with the old trains. Now let's return to the predicaments at the train depot in Williams today. Marshal John B. Goodmore discovers One-Eyed Jack leaning disdainfully against a pillar and approaches him forthrightly, inquiring,
I'm Marshal John B. Goodmore. I don't believe I've seen you in these parts before.
I don't reckon so.
Where you from?
Texas.
What's your name, sir?
John Smith.
John Smith. What happened to your eye?
Lost it in a card game.
Lost in a card game. Do you have a ticket to ride the train today?
Sure do.
Could I look at it? This says Boyd.
Yeah, John Smith Boyd. That's my married name, Boyd.
I want to tell you, we've had a little trouble around the depot. You look a little suspicious to me, and if you look at so much as you're going to spit on the sidewalk, you're going to answer to me.
Yeah, we can lock you up for spitting on our sidewalk, you know.
Suspecting the worst, Marshal Goodmore deputizes strong-hearted recruits from the crowd waiting to board the train.
Promise to swear. To support the marshal.
Some mean-looking hard cases step down off the train. This doesn't look too good for the marshal.
Hey, Marshal!
But the marshal has recruited a posse of brave men.
Get some rocks! And with a baseball bat, a 2x4.
What are you doing with 2 feathers?
Marshal, you know I love you, but I'd give you up for a bag of gold.
Hey! I see you brought help with you today. Where'd you get all them ugly deputies?
On 3, 2 feathers. 1, 2, 3.
And this is the way it was in the Old West, blazing guns and the good guy winning out over the bad guy and getting the girl. The train can travel safely now to the canyon. Or does he really get the girl? And is it really safe yet? We'll see. The steam train to the Grand Canyon is the real McCoy. You have to care for this old engine the same way they did back in the heyday of steam locomotives, and Grand Canyon Railway does it right. The railway is run by long-time, highly experienced personnel. The rolling stock is treated with the respect this grand old equipment deserves. The turn-of-the-century engine that pulls your train today was pampered and oiled and spoiled like royalty last night in the railway's modern shops. When satisfied that all is in order, mechanics roll the engine out the doors, ready to pull you and your family along on a colorful journey into the past and up to the grandest of canyons. Depending on how many cars there'll be, they might have to pull your train with 2 engines, a double header. Now this is a pleasant sight for rail buffs and passengers alike, a distinctive bit of railroading seldom seen in the country today. Restoration of engine number 29 was completed in time for the 1990 summer season and is in full service. Both engines hook up together on busy days and pull the long trains to the canyon.
Is this a sleeper?
Oh, yeah.
We want,
yeah,
we
they're
want,
all sleepers.
we want the
First
sleeper.
class.
We first class sleeper. That's what we wanted. Thank you.
That's to the right.
Train departure time.
I think that's my seat.
No.
Move on, One-Eyed Jack.
We settle into a pleasurable world of sights and sounds and smells and motions of turn-of-the-century railroading. From Williams at the base of Bill Williams Mountain, the train chugs out of the yard through colorful carpets of sunflowers. Across Cataract Creek and into a forest of ponderosa pines. Now, Williams and the rim of the Grand Canyon are just about the same elevation, but the train actually drops 1,000 feet in altitude on the way, drops from the forest and out onto northern Arizona's high desert plains, then back up again to the rim of the canyon. Time passes quickly on your journey to the canyon. There's lots of things going on the train.
Well, listen to the jingle and rumble land. As you goes along the woodlands, pine fields and by the shore. Feel the mighty rush of the engineers and lonesome hobo. We're riding through the jungle and walk past Cannonball. Ride!
Starting to climb again, working back up toward cool pine forests. The steam engines have to work for a living now. These are the steepest grades on the line. The engineer must keep a firm hand on the throttle and a keen eye on the track ahead, a delicate touch on a monster that sure doesn't seem very delicate. Downhill. Uphill. Downhill. Uphill again. Still going slow, not only for steep grades, but for two wide hairpin curves that snake up through Coconino Canyon. Arriving at the Grand Canyon, the train normally turns around on a Y track and backs into the station, just as it did almost 100 years ago. Despite its size and chugging steam and distinctive whistle, the train seems very much a friend to the national park's environment. As a matter of fact, after a trip to the Grand Canyon in 1902, John Muir, considered to be one of the fathers of environmental awareness in this country, wrote, "When I saw those trains crawling along through the pines of the Coconino Forest and close up to the brink as the Bright Angel, I was glad to discover that in the presence of such stupendous scenery, they were nothing. The locomotives and trains are mere beetles and caterpillars, and the noise they make is as little disturbing as the hooting of an owl in the lonely woods." Well, the Grand Canyon annually attracts millions of visitors, and during the busy summer months, vehicle traffic in the park is very, very heavy. In fact, part of the rim drives are closed off, and access is only by shuttle buses. So the National Park Service views the trains as an environmentally sound way of transporting large numbers of people to the South Rim, translating into thousands less automobiles at the canyon. The steam train to the canyon is a good neighbor. The layover at the Grand Canyon gives passengers plenty of time to wander around and enjoy this special place. In fact, you can make arrangements to spend the night. Maybe stay in the grand old El Tovar Hotel and catch the train back tomorrow. Don't be late at the station, because the train leaves exactly on time for the return trip. And you may think things are going to be pretty quiet on the way back, but, well, you know what they say. It ain't over till it's over. You know, I thought Marshal Goodmore shot these guys down like dirty dogs this morning.
That'll do 18, that'll do. Hit him up, folks! Hit him up!
Hey, that's my chair, isn't it? Where's your ticket?
Our stout-hearted marshal, while still hot on the trail of the bad guys, is diverted by the fickleness of Priscilla Goodbody.
Silly, I can't believe a thing you say. I don't believe you've been fooling with this man. You come with me, Priscilla.
That's my boyfriend.
Where's he at?
I just here for him, and he wants me off the train. Tell him. Go ahead. Tell him.
Don't throw her off the train.
Okay.
Don't throw her off the train. I'll be in trouble with both of you then.
The steam train to the canyon rolls out across the high country of northern Arizona through a grand panorama of the West. You can just see so far without the 1990s slapping you in the face. A ride back in time on this grand old steam train is perfect for anyone looking for an enjoyable day spiced with the flavor of the Old West, good company, and a remarkable visit to the Grand Canyon. Ah, an easy way to go. Time to breathe in the fresh air, watch the country go by, and scatter your cares out over the miles of track disappearing behind you.